Hiut Denim's newsletter sets the standard for the craft of email marketing. Each week their team send 2 emails, one to sell and one to inspire their audience of creatives and entrepreneurs. On our trip we were lucky enough to see the process of how Hiut bring together their emails. We left with a simple and effective flow for bringing together great content for email. Here's how they do it. So every week at 10 o'clock on Wednesday, the team come together and every one of them has to present an idea of something that has inspired them, a piece of content that's made them laugh, made them smile, and they come together and use this content to then inspire the couple of newsletters that they send every week to their community. One email goes out selling stuff and another goes out to completely inspire their folks, and we're recipients of it. It's one of the reasons why we love Hiut, why we love Do, and so it's just absolutely buzzing to see it in real life.
This is a new floating solar stroke hydro energy plant in Thailand.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing. Wow.
So it's created this kind of thing with the grasses all blown across the valley and really knitted into the fence.
Yeah.
Yes, it's beautiful, isn't it? So, and again, it's just
Who's
so
doing that?
intricate.
One person.
Nature.
The
wind. Yeah, nature.
The wind.
The wind in the weekend.
The wind in
Nature.
the weekend.
That's
No
so
way.
Beautiful. Yeah.
The wind did that.
It's all the way across.
Nature
It's
is
all,
best.
I want to go see it. But
It's wicked. It's a lovely photo. The light in it's really.
That is insane.
it's so nice, isn't
Like,
it?
if you said like Banksy done it,
Yeah.
oh my god, Banksy's done it. It's amazing. And, like,
Yeah, so the book is beautiful, and again, it just shows just some backwards whatnot, but it's really iconic imagery, really.
Yeah, he basically makes miniature, tiny little bits of artwork on bits of discarded chewing gum, and
so it's actually a chewing gum
on the ground, just on the
no,
pavement.
I got it to scale now. He's been doing this since 2004.
2004.
I admire the work, but I also admire that he's just kept going.
I know.
How did you find him?
A Guardian article.
Okay.
I love this, so even from a starting point, subject line, super easy, right?
Yeah.
And like the fact that you just went backspace and then
Change
plus
the
one.
number. Yeah, exactly.
That's great. Is there ever a moment where you're like, maybe we change the title or the subject?
We have done before.
Right.
We tested a couple of different things,
Yeah.
and we actually found that just when I say bog standard, or the classic, let's say, the classic just worked so much better because I think people know it, so they know to click on it. But when it hits inboxes, we want them to know it's from Hiut Denim, this is what you're going to get, you kind of know. It's why we tend to keep the categories the same as well. Like there's a couple of interchangeable ones, but generally it's like, you open Scrapbook, there's going to be a cool thing about tech. Well, hopefully you'll think it's cool. And there's going to be, something about creativity, something about food. Like you kind of know what you're getting with it. But we're still hoping to kind of inspire you and tell you something new, just within a formula that you are used to. I think because like when we have the creative breakfasts and stuff, everyone is bringing something that they care about. I think that keeps it going. And I mean, I know David mentioned it in the creative breakfast. It's like if we couldn't bring one thing that week, then it's like, how is that possible? There's so much cool stuff out there. And it's just finding the things that like resonate with us and that we think will resonate with our audience too. Again, in terms of keeping it simple, we work from the old template.
Yeah, no, it's great.
But just finding the images, kind of, we have like a set, we want them to be, we don't ever want it to be too crowded or too much going on in the background. David is so clear on sort of what his vision and image is for things, that through that I know what kind of imagery we're going to be looking for, I don't know if you saw down there, like we always want a couple of GIFs at least, just because they add a little bit of fun to it and that kind of thing. So yeah, and it's sort of, we always, and if we have news, then so sometimes we might do like a soft launch. Like this week we launched the Nettle Selvage short run. So on Saturday, we're not really giving too much away, but we're just being like, hey, like piquing their interest maybe.
This is probably one of the biggest touch points people have with the brand each week, even if it's twice a week. So, I mean, even stuff with like the template, do you switch it around often, or is it
not too often? I mean, a few months ago we used to have 12 pieces of content and we reduced it down to 8.
Okay.
Because we were finding that with the 12 we weren't necessarily finding like the best bits. We were just trying to fill those gaps. So by reducing it we were actually able to stick higher quality stuff in there. You do get people that look out for it of a week. And you know, there might be someone that says like, oh, in like number 265 there was an article on this, and like, and I followed what it said in the article, and now I'm doing this with my life, you know.
Cool.
So it kind of creates like engagement with customers that you wouldn't necessarily have otherwise, because it's nothing to do with the brand, it's nothing to do with anything we sell or we do, it's just we've shared something and then we're having a conversation with them, which is really nice. I think a big part of it as well is that things that we find interesting, we know that we have a similar mindset to a lot of our customers.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we find it interesting, we think there's a good chance that they would too, or you know, if we've just discovered something, we want to share it with them. But I think like a spot on point is, it is being human. It's like, you know, you could never have heard of us before and still find some value in that newsletter.
Do you find that most people who buy Hiut jeans are sort of in the creative industries then, and
Yeah.
those sort of types of people?
Yeah, I think, which is great, because I mean, you've got like Rene Redzepi, who owns Noma in Copenhagen, he's had our jeans before. You know, I mean, we've had Anton Deck wear our jeans before. And then you've got, you know, like local creative people. Some of the builders wear them, because that's a creative art in its own right. So I think it's like across the creative industries, it's like, yeah, that's kind of who we're going. I put everything that we've covered in a note, and like then that'll be mixed in with other things that I found. So like the chewing gum gallery came from Creative Breakfast, but this Liana, the movie, I found through newsletters and kind of have been collecting that through the week. And then it's just, we kind of go through, and then like I can see like I need to find something else for tech. And then before I actually start piecing it together, I'll sit down with David and we'll go through the different options and highlight which ones he thinks should go in, like what we want to save for, because nothing's wasted. It might be that we just choose to put it on Twitter instead, or highlight it on Instagram rather than put it in the newsletter.
Do you ever take inspiration from the community? So do people ever come back to you and sort of say, hey, you should check this out, or like...
Yeah, totally, yeah. I mean, we often get customers email in and be like, oh, I really enjoyed this like week's version of Scrapbook. I own this company and we do this, like, would you consider putting us in? Or I was like out in wherever and I came across this and I thought this might be a good fit for Scrapbook. So yeah, people kind of, it's quite nice actually, they get involved.
Thank you for sharing.
Cool, no problem at all. Yeah, no worries, I hope I covered stuff.